Imran Khan here for Seconds Out with boxer promoter Ben Shalom. Ben, weigh-in drama. What was the case there? Joe Gallagher is fighting his cause, saying that the weighing scales weren't calibrated. What's your point of view?
Good to see you, by the way. Thanks for supporting the show all week. I have seen you. It's great to catch up ahead of such a historic night tomorrow night. Look, Joe felt like the scales were a couple of ounces too light. I think when you put them on different surfaces, that can be the case sometimes. And so I understood his point, but then when Lauren's coming in lighter than Natasha by quite a significant amount, you know, they've both weighed in, they've both done it professionally. I think he's complained about when the scales were calibrated, but there aren't any issues. And they both weighed in, and we've got a massive fight tomorrow. It's good fun. This is as much about the battle of the trainers as it is about the battle of the fighters. You've got two of the best trainers that we've ever seen in this country, Rob McCracken and Joe Gallagher, and the mind games is fascinating. They've both got their game plan. Rob's going under the radar. He's making sure that Lauren copes with the pressure that Joe's putting her under, and Joe, who has felt like Natasha's back has been against the wall during the promotion, who does feel like Lauren is the golden girl and getting all the plaudits, is protecting his fighter and sort of readjusting the psychology of the promotion, and he knows what he's doing.
Small bit.
Okay. And lastly, the board at the end of the day are the regulators of this event. We're the promoters, they're the regulators. They have approved the scales, and everyone's weighed in and ready for Friday night.
Small bit of news concerning the board as well too. Cindy Gamba drops off of the card. Can you tell us any more details as to why she's been removed?
Yeah, really hard last night to have to sit with her family and explain what had happened. We found something. We don't like the look of it. The board don't like the look of it, but it can be solved. But there's no way that she could box tomorrow night. Health and safety comes first for her, for everyone. But absolutely devastated. She's worked so hard. She's made the way, which hasn't been easy. And my heart goes out to her right now because she's a lovely girl, and so many people were talking about her debut, the first ever Olympic refugee to medal. But boxing can be a cruel place. Life can be cruel. Hopefully, we go through the required steps and we can get her fit to box.
So you feel it won't affect her long-term fight future?
I don't believe so, but there's a few extra things that we now need to do.
When it comes to the undercard, look, Caroline Dubois, of course, she's been scintillating in her performances. Does she have the pressure of having to perform and get highlight reel performances and knockouts every time she fights because of the trajectory she's on?
Absolutely. We believe she's the future face of women's boxing. We believe she's going to be headlining the big arenas. We believe that she is the one. That comes with the pressure, as with any great fighter. She enjoys the pressure. She wants the pressure. Look at the way she's conducting herself in interviews now. It's mad. It really is mad, and she deserves it. 20 years old, she came into our office. She couldn't really talk. She was nervous, everything. Now look at her. She's accomplished. She's confident. She's everything and more that a star needs to be. She's in a firefight tomorrow with Bomi Reishan. She is going to enjoy it. She's going to go hell for leather, and hopefully she gets a statement finish.
The other point Joe was making in the build-up was that he felt that Lauren Price has been built up as the female Usyk, and maybe the scales of the narrative have been weighed more in her favour. Do you feel that's the same way maybe Natasha's not got the spotlight she deserves?
Possibly. Look, this is Natasha's 7th consecutive world title fight. Does she deserve every plaudit in the world for what she's done for this sport? 2012, she represented GB. Boxing fans might talk as though they don't really like women's boxing, or like certain boxing fans. Tasha Jonas, what she's done is incredible for everyone, for the sport. 2012 to now, still headlining shows, phenomenally gifted, phenomenally talented. You look at her defeats and what happened in those defeats and how close they were in the judging. She rarely puts her foot wrong, and she's a phenomenal talent. And every time I think she's going to drop off, she doesn't. Lauren Price has been flawless so far. Flawless in her entire career, amateur and pro. Gold in everything. That's why she gets compared to Usyk. Gold in everything. Never lost a round. Incredible. But has she boxed at an elite level like Natasha Jonas has? No. And that's what we're about to find out. But it's a great fight. It's a 50-50 fight.
On to the wider boxing news, I want to get your thoughts on last week. First of all, when it comes to Eubank Jr versus Conor Benn, there's a pertinent bit of information missing regarding the rehydration clause, and that is what time he has to weigh in, on fight day. What time does he have to weigh in? Can you share it?
This was negotiated and contested very early in the morning. I'm not going to give it exactly what it is, but very early in the morning. It doesn't matter. It still shouldn't be happening, and probably he's going to disrupt his sleep as well. You know, if you imagine you're boxing at 10 p.m. at night, the last thing you want to be doing is getting up very in the morning, dehydrating yourself during the night before that you're fighting. Doesn't make sense to me. Maybe the board will look at it. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me.
So when you say it was contested, the argument maybe from the other side was that they wanted it later than it was to be in the morning, right?
But they want to have him half. You know, they really want it to have as much impact on the fight as possible. However, in fairness, they understand that it can't be dangerous. It will be early in the morning. It will disrupt possibly will disrupt his sleep. But anyway, it is what it is. It's part of what's happened so far.
Can you say as to whether there's financial penalty for an amount that he doesn't reach if he doesn't reach the weigh-in on the Friday or the second weigh-in?
I can't, but what I would say is most fights of this scale have penalties, because otherwise, what's the point in them? So read into that what you will.
Okay, fair enough. The other thing I was quite intrigued by was, I think earlier last week, a tweet went out from Talk Sport revealing that Ben Shalom had signed a bumper extension with Boxer. What can you tell us about? It was swiftly deleted, but what can you tell us about the potential of an extension, Ben?
Nothing yet. But we're at an exciting time in our cycle, and a lot of these fighters that ourselves, and not just me, Sky, have invested in, are finally coming to the forefront, are finally headlining shows, are finally getting to the interesting part of their careers, from Ben Whittaker to Adam Azim to Fraser Clark to Caroline DeBar to Lauren Price to Callum Simpson to Vidal Riley. These are fighters that have started with us and finally getting to the most exciting points of their career, and we're both heavily invested in, and there will be some news soon.
Yeah, I mean, what was there was that moment? It was no Eddie Hearn, no DAZN, no MTK, a lot of people would have thought maybe no deal. Do you feel like you've done this against all odds if you get the deal signed and over the line?
Look, I've been told we're going to be leaving boxing for every few months since we started. I think people forget, when we first started, it was 6 months. Then it was Top Rank actually got the deal. Then it was this. We've had to come through so much, and as you said, the MTK moments, and it's just been a lot that we've had to withstand. We feel that we've not just built some stars, but we've really revitalised women's boxing as well. It's been a journey. Make no mistake about it. It really has, and we've had to ride obstacles and ride waves and build the business. But it's a lot hard. It's a lot easier now than it was at the start. We're an established business now, and we're putting on great fights. Like, look at this year. You know, Callum Simpson had his moment against Steed Woodall. We want to put on the big British nights. Adam Azim had a breakout performance against Sergey Lipnets. Now we're into a historic female card. Ben Whittaker against Liam Cameron in a huge fight. Then we're into Eubank Ben. Then we're about to announce our next stadium show. Things are looking very good, and that takes time, as all businesses do, as all fighters do, and as promoters do as well. So yeah, it's been a journey, definitely.
Just quickly before I let you go, there was a breaking announcement last night about Turko creating a deal with TKO in the boxing league and it crushing all competition. Like, I just wonder what your thoughts about that and the future of boxing as a whole.
Listen, I think boxing's being disrupted left, right, and centre at the moment. That's a good thing. There's a lot of fighters who need a lot of opportunities, and look, Turkey's working with everyone. He's working with us. He's working with every promoter. He's working with Dana now. That's good. And more investment coming into the sport, more disruption coming into the sport, more broadcasters coming into the sport. We want to keep the major broadcasters. Not every broadcaster can be serviced, by one promoter. We have to keep big broadcasters in the sport. I think the US has a boxing problem probably more than the UK. I think the UK is very healthy. If you look at the schedules now and what's happening, if you look at the amount of broadcasters involved, I'd like to see more. Since Frank left TNT, we want to find a way to keep other broadcasters involved. But boxing's very healthy in the UK, and hopefully we can get it healthy in the US again, and it will just create a bigger market for everyone.
Very, very last thing, was Eddie pushing you a disruption at the face-off?
Was he pushing me?
He did push you.
Was it a disruption?
Yeah.
No, to be honest, I didn't know it was him first of all. I'd been pushed as part of the melee. Was it disruption? No. I think I see it as I wear it quite with a bit of a badge of honour, to be honest. To be pushed by both promoters is quite impressive. Without even throwing a push myself, I think we're doing something right when we've got Frank and Eddie doing what they do. So yeah.
People seem to like your interactions with him.
Yeah. I don't know. I enjoy the fact that we can make the fights now. It is much more enjoyable as a promoter to turn up, to have your guys against their guys. Boxer and Matchroom have had a lot of back and forth over the past 3 years, and it culminates on April 26th with one of the biggest fights of the year. The teams get on as well. Like there's both they're both young teams, and it works well. Nothing against Eddie whatsoever, and yeah, I enjoy the interactions. It's good fun.
Cheers, man. Thank you.
Cheers.